Recently, a lot of people have asked me to make more videos about slang. And I promise that I will make some more videos about slang soon. But what I really want to do in this video is I want to talk about why I don't teach a lot of slang, and also how you can learn slang. So, what is slang? Slang is informal language. It's very casual. It's not language that you use in business. It's not usually language that you would use at work. It's not always rude. It's not bad. It's just not professional. It's informal. But that's fine. A lot of the language that I teach is informal. It's very important to know informal language. Americans use informal language probably 90% of the time. We speak very casually. So then, why don't I teach more slang if I do teach informal language? And slang is informal language. So the problem with slang is that slang is often used to kind of show your identity in a specific group or in a specific location. So there might be a word that is really only used by teenage girls in Australia. Or there might be a word that is only used by skateboarders in New York City. Or there might be a word that is only used by computer nerds in Canada. There might be a word that is only used by 40 to 60-year-old Hispanic men in Alaska. So slang is specific to a location, specific to an age group, specific to a community. And I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are going. I don't know who you are talking to. So I don't want to give you some words and then you think that you can use them everywhere in the world and people will understand you. Because often they won't understand you. Because the slang words that I know are mostly from where I grew up at the point in time where I grew up. So if I'm 31 years old, the slang words that I know are mostly the slang words that I learned when I was, I don't know, like 10 to 25 years old. So those are probably not the slang terms that are still being used now. So these are the main reasons why I don't teach slang, because I don't know which words you need. Slang is specific to certain groups, and the slang that I do know might not be useful for you. So then, how do you learn slang? So my biggest piece of advice on learning slang is don't rush, don't hurry, don't feel like I have to go learn all the slang right now. So that what you have to do is you have to find out, who do I plan on speaking with? Where do I plan on going? And then if you want to, maybe you're going to New York City. You could go on Google and you could type in New York City slang. And you could check a list of words. But then you don't want to start using them immediately, because you need to understand who actually says these words and when do they say them. Are they appropriate for daily use, or are they only used in certain situations? So, number one, if you know where you're going, check on the internet. New York City slang, Australia slang. And then you can start researching. But then when you go to that place, I don't recommend that you use them. I recommend that you wait and you listen because maybe you learned a word and you don't know this yet, but it's only used by 20 to 30-year-old African Americans. And you are a 60-year-old woman from Ukraine. And you go to New York. And you start using this word. And people look at you like, that's really weird. Why are you using this word? It's not really relevant to your culture. So what I recommend doing is you go and you listen and you hear a word the first time and you don't understand it. So you ask that person, "Excuse me, I've never heard that word before. What does it mean?" And they explain it to you. And now you know what it means. Okay. But you don't use it yet because you've only heard it used one time in one situation. So you wait until you hear it used many, many times. Maybe in the next 5 weeks, you hear 20 people say this word. And every person who says it, you notice, is male and 20 to 30 years old. And they only use it with their friends. Now you have a good idea about who uses it and when they use it. And this is just my personal opinion, is that this is the best way to learn slang without making yourself look foolish and without making other people uncomfortable. But maybe you don't care. You like looking foolish. You like looking stupid. And you don't care if other people are comfortable. If that's your style, go ahead and go try to use all the slang that you can. You will probably create some uncomfortable situations. You will make some people uneasy and they might think weird things about you. But if you're fine with that, that also works. But that's just not personally what I recommend. And this is why I don't teach a lot of slang. But again, I will make some more slang videos in the future.